How's it going, peeps? Welcome back to Viva la Coin. I am Joe. I will be your host for today's episode, and thank you for coming back to join us as we talk about how the cryptocurrency market is currently losing its motherfucking mind. If you have seen what is going on right now with Dogecoin, it is absolutely absurd. We went from having a meme token that was well below a single penny all the way up to a high of around 45 cents last night. Everyone that has been in crypto for a while is one of two things. We are either incredibly salty because we sold most of our Dogecoin well below a penny or even below 5 cents, or we know where that money is going to go when Doge does correct. All that new money coming into the market is going to flow into other cryptocurrencies. We are officially at the point where we can say retail is here. The main retail market of WallStreet Bets is coming in. I'm going to touch on that real quick. It is incredibly exciting for what is to come for the rest of the altcoins, for the rest of April. But we're going to break that down. I'm also going to talk a little bit about Biden's new appointee for the head of the SEC. So the SEC has been giving cryptocurrency a little bit of trouble, both with the XRP and Ripple lawsuit, along with some other crypto lawsuits involving Tether, which is the largest stablecoin in the crypto space, as well as just poking and prodding a lot more than what most people are comfortable with, considering that we are falling behind most other major countries like China when it comes to cryptocurrency, integration, acceptance, etc. So I'm going to touch base on who the new person is, whether or not it is good news, and I think you're going to be excited to hear about that. Aside from that, if you have any questions, any concerns, any comments, leave them down below. I'll be happy to get back to you, and I'll put down below my link to my Telegram and my Twitter page. If you want further insight, just have a conversation with me. They're both, the Telegram's free. You can just jump in. And all we do is just bullshit there and talk back and forth about the cryptocurrency market. So you are more than welcome to join in, but let's just dive into this here. So unlike I typically have this chart up talking about Bitcoin, instead we have Dogecoin. So Dogecoin is essentially a meme token that was created years and years ago as a joke about the meme dog that's like the, ooh, so wow, the Shiba Inu. I believe it's referred to as. But for the Dogecoin, it was always valued incredibly low. And if we look at the Dogecoin price historically, we were sitting all the way back, even in December of 2020, well below a penny at about 0.3 of a penny. But if we extend this back even a little bit further, for the most point, it was all the way down to around 0.2 of a penny historically. Throughout this entire thing, meme token has, when I talk about utility of like Cardano or Ethereum, where people are building on the network, when I talk about the Polkadot parachains, all these different things, Dogecoin has none of that. If we look at their cryptocurrency right here, there's an unlimited supply, so there's no cap on it. And there is 129 billion Dogecoin currently in circulation, and there's new Dogecoin put out all the time. So there's no real inherent value or utility to this token, and yet we are up 163% today. Now, why is that the case? Well, if we look at cryptocurrency in total right now, we are at $2.24 trillion in the crypto space. Dogecoin is the fifth largest cryptocurrency at the moment with a $48 billion with a B market cap. No one expected this. I mean, of course, you could make speculations about, oh yeah, one day Doge is going to be $1. But for it to pop up this quickly and this suddenly with this much volume, if people could have anticipated this, most of crypto Twitter, most of the people in this space, we already would have bought in mass and we would have been ready. That just wasn't the case. I mean, everyone has like a little bit of Doge, which I had a teeny tiny bit, sold that halfway up in that pump because I didn't even think it was going to go any higher. But ultimately, no one really anticipated this. So what led to Dogecoin, just a meme token, surpassing all these other tokens? Well, that is due in part to our friendly neighborhood WallStreet Bet community. So the same people that led the way in the whole GameStop saga, where they went in and they were buying GameStop shares, in AMC shares and BlackBerry and Nokia and all these other companies that were being shorted by these large hedge funds, and they were causing them a ton of problems. Well, they finally went on, and the moderators of that Reddit page said that moving forward, they are allowed to discuss cryptocurrency. Now, if you're unfamiliar with WallStreet Bets, on their pages, you were not allowed to really bring up Bitcoin or Ethereum or any other cryptos, solely for the fact that the moderators believed that you were taking away from the momentum or from the objective of focusing on publicly traded companies. So I do not know if it is because Coinbase is now a publicly listed company that they feel as though it is now allowed, or they're going to, just say, yeah, sure, we'll shit talk about cryptos and see what we can do. But nonetheless, you can see just within 24 hours a massive 166% pump on Dogecoin. And even over the last couple of days, that was really starting to get a little bit of fire going under it with a 514% 7-day rise. So why this is important is for a couple different reasons. So no, I am not a financial advisor. I am not an oracle. I am not a fucking wizard. I can't tell you what to do financially. None of this is financial advice. This is purely educational. I would not go and invest in Dogecoin right now. That is because I do not run into green candles. If you go and chase Dogecoin, what's going to happen is it is going to correct and you are going to lose your money. There were a lot of people buying in. If you can see this chart, you should be able to minimize. So it went up right around, this was at 9:30 p.m. last night, all the way up to about 45 cents. And that's when the highest volume of people were buying. It was shooting straight up. Well, what happened as soon as it hit its peak? Massive sell-off and people dumping and taking profit. Not only people that probably had Doge for a long time, but some new investors that just got in 2 or 3 days ago, they were up 200-300% already. So they started dumping, and I'm sure every time it starts getting back up to that level, they're going to start dumping again and again and again. When it comes to driving this market cap, people are saying, send it to $1, send it to $10. For them to get $50 billion into what is essentially a shit coin that doesn't do anything is a feat in and of itself that it has stunned, shocked, and awed me to the point where I don't even have words to explain it. However, you have large names in the space now, such as Elon Musk, who constantly tweets about Doge because he finds them funny and he's a meme lord. And then Mark Cuban, who actually had the Dallas Mavericks organization purchasing Dogecoin, and they're selling Mavericks merch with Dogecoin, accepting Dogecoin. And they're compiling that. And he just put out a tweet earlier that they just almost like tripled their sales or whatever over the last 24 hours in Dogecoin. So you have some practical uses. And yes, it's going to pump and dump and pump and dump. But is it going to push to $1? You would have to be the third largest crypto at that point, and you're going to have to start taking money out of these other functional cryptos that are going to start to pump. I don't see it pumping up that quickly. However, if it does, at this point, that would only be a 2x. That is a big gamble to take just to double your money, when I think it's much more likely for it to correct and collapse down on itself and then sort of stay in that same pattern, hovering around the top 10 for some time until the rest of altcoin takes its run. Now, for Dogecoin, this is important that it pumped though, because this means that retail is here. So when you have all these outside investors rushing into cryptocurrency and making extraordinary gains right out of the gate, that word of mouth is going to travel. I'm sure the mainstream news is covering Dogecoin right now because they don't understand the difference between that and Bitcoin. Plus, it's a pretty big story if I'm being honest. You're going to have other investors in the stock market staring at their 15-20% losses over the last couple months as the stocks have been a little volatile, saying, what the fuck am I doing in the stock market? Is we're just barely treading water, seeing if we're not going to crash. I just could have taken a portion of my money, put it into Doge, and 5x'd it. So you're going to have people taking profit from there and putting it into Doge. But when it does correct and that does dip, what's going to happen is that money's going to have to go somewhere. that somewhere is the rest of the crypto market, including Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are the two main cryptos that WallStreet Bets is going to talk about, as well as other cheaper cryptos, I believe like Cardano. Anyone that's in WallStreet Bets that has Coinbase or Binance US, any of these exchanges that has Cardano, $1.43. On paper, it looks very affordable. If they don't know all the inner workings behind it, I believe that the cheaper cryptos are going to receive a little bit of a pump, but ultimately it's going to ripple effect all the way through crypto over time. So definitely exciting to see. And I wish I would have held on to my Dogecoin. I just could have retired today. But hey, you live and you learn. And sometimes it is the degenerate Wall Street bettors that get the better of you. And I'm happy for every single person that did make profit. Congratulations. And, keep it rolling. Now, when we look at that path through alt season, there's a pretty familiar chart that always circulates around the internet, but I figured I would share it with you. So we always start with Bitcoin pumping first, and that's what we saw over the course of last weekend up till Monday, pushing towards like 65K. Then that starts flowing into Ethereum. So Ethereum starts to pump, just broke 2,500 last night. Okay, what follows? The rest of the large caps. So as soon as Bitcoin and Ethereum continue to rise, and we're done doing this all-time high retest, that's your top 10, top 20, top 25 cryptos start to receive a lot of that leftover profit. And then finally, phase 4 is altcoin season, which is once all the larger cap coins have pumped, all the mid cap and low cap coins, mostly anything even below $1 billion, that a lot of those profits are going to flow into them. And that's when you see those true 10x, 20x parabolic gains, because they have lower market caps and it is easier to multiply the amount of money you get back if you choose the right cryptos and they perform as well as the rest of them. So just keep in mind that if you rush into Doge now, I wouldn't expect 50x gains. In fact, if you wound up with 2x gains, I think it would be a miracle. I'm not going to, count WallStreet Bets out. They may pump it to $1 over the next week. And if that's the case, it's still good for us. I will take it. But in any case, just be smart about your investment. If you did make a shit ton of profits, it's probably not a bad idea to take some. Now, next, I want to talk about who was chosen to become the new head of the SEC that oversees pretty much everything from a trading standpoint. So Gary Gensler, confirmed by Senate to lead the SEC, Wall Street's top regulator. So Gary Gensler will lead the Securities and Exchange Commission after the Senate voted Wednesday to confirm his nomination to the head of the nation's top financial regulator. Gensler will play a key role in enforcing and drafting rules that will govern Wall Street, investors, and financial entities. Progressives expect him to take a look at digital currencies, the GameStop trading mania, and how corporate America prioritizes environmental and social and governance issues. So that's a pretty blanket vanilla statement. Doesn't really say a lot. Oh, they expect him to overlook digital currencies. Well, then again, if you remember my last video and that guy calling out Janet Yellen about being incorrect about how much Bitcoin's used for illegal activities, well, everyone is looking at cryptocurrency and how they're going to regulate it. So that doesn't say much. What those couple key points, which they're not the key points, point out is, here's the important thing. Gary Gensler is a professor at MIT, and what does he teach? Gary Gensler is a professor of the practice of global economics and management, MIT Sloan School of Management, co-director of MIT's FinTech programs, and senior advisor to the MIT Media Lab Digital Currency Initiative. He conducts research and teaches on blockchain technology, digital currencies, financial technology, and public policy. Holy shit. They just appointed someone to be the head of the SEC that is an MIT professor in blockchain. I cannot start to explain how incredibly important and positive that is, not only for the United States in crypto, but just for crypto in general, because the United States has such a big crypto market. We have these dusty old politicians and bullshit lawmakers that have no fucking clue what Bitcoin is. I saw some reporter put out a story yesterday talking about Coinbase, like saying, oh, why would you buy Bitcoin when you can own, the company that makes it? I'm like, Coinbase doesn't make Bitcoin. You stupid, just people don't do any bit of research. They have an opinion, they throw it out there, and it misleads other people. We are about to have a professor of blockchain from MIT as the leader and head regulator of the SEC, the same governing body that was giving a bunch of the other cryptos a hard time. And we're going to have clear, defined rules and regulations around crypto, in my opinion. Now, I do not believe that crypto should be an unregulated mess. I believe that proper regulation is an okay thing. I think that it's a necessary thing. When it gets out of hand is when the people that are making the regulations do not understand it. And we're going to be able to get past that hurdle with Gary Gensler at the helm. And this was important enough news that I wanted to share it for anyone that's worried about, well, what if the SEC shuts everything down? Well, the SEC is now ran by a guy who literally talked about Bitcoin in his lecture. And he actually has an MIT OpenCourseWare video up with almost 500,000 views, but the channel has 3 million subs, where he does an hour-and-a-half long lecture about Bitcoin and digital money. Now, I'll link this YouTube video below because I have watched it. It is very interesting. It's a little bit complicated if this is the first video of mine that you're seeing, but trust me when I say this is incredibly bullish news for cryptocurrency in general. But aside from that, I'm not buying Dogecoin, but God damn it, I'm happy for every single person that did. Take those profits, make sure to reinvest them, be smart about it. For everyone else, don't run into green candles, don't sacrifice your money chasing that pump, and keep an eye on the rest of the altcoins that maybe you're getting a little bit discouraged on. Maybe you feel like, oh, I just watched XRP that essentially was in a court case with the SEC over the last couple months just go 300%. I'm like, oh, damn, that's discouraging, but my altcoins are next. Then I watched this fucking meme coin, Doge, go 500% over the last week. I'm still sitting here and my altcoins are up and down, not really moving. That's okay. They will. But if you do not sit on your hands at this point and you go chasing that Doge or XRP pump, you're going to be very upset when those correct and then all of your coins that you just pulled out of start to pump. So this is all about understanding why things are happening the way they're happening, even why Doge was pumping and the WallStreet Bets community getting involved, and ultimately being smart about taking profits and following through on this altcoin and knowing why our regulators behind the scenes are going to make this easier moving forward. Fingers crossed. But aside from that, I appreciate you joining me on this episode of Viva la Coin. Sorry about the videos being a little more spaced out. My phone broke, which if you do a bunch of crypto stuff on your phone, it is a very hectic, heart-stopping experience. So I had to pull all my wallets off, pull all my seed phrases, get everything pulled over, which it's a good learning moment I'll add in at the end here. If you're setting up wallets, if you're setting up exchanges, if you're setting up anything, your hard wallet doesn't matter. If you have a seed phrase, if you have something important to write down so that you can recover your shit in case your phone breaks, your laptop breaks, your house gets hit by a meteor, write it down a second time. Do not type it into your computer, which can be hacked or which can break. Do not pretend that you can memorize it, because if I didn't have that information, I couldn't re-access some of my crypto wallets. That is pivotal if you're going to be in this space. So just a word of caution, make sure to write those down, keep them in a safe place, don't share them anywhere, and please don't screenshot it on your phone, because if someone hacks your phone, then they steal your crypto. Aside from that, thanks for joining me on this episode of Viva la Coin. Please share this video. Any likes that you can leave down below really does help the algorithm, apparently. And aside from that, I'm honored that you came in to join us today, and I will catch you guys next time.